everyone. Welcome back to the L.A.M.E Book Club podcast. My name is Melissa.
I'm Ellie. And today we are doing our first ever early release Patreon episode. So if you are listening to this episode in October, that means you're one of our faves. You're a Patreon member. And so congrats, you're here, you're listening. And if you're listening to this episode anytime outside of the month of October, just know that if you join our Patreon, you'll have access to our early release episodes, such as this one, which leads me into join our Patreon. It's a great time over there. We talk on Discord. We do early release episodes. We have bonus content. We have live book clubs. You get voting rights. It's a blast. So please join. It's so much fun.
Yep, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, all the things. We love having you be a part of our community, and we love communicating with y'all.
Yeah. So without further ado, this episode is titled, I Can Fix Him. No, really, I can. The L.A.M.E Book Club pod version.
And this is part one. This is going to be a two-parter. This is part one.
Yes. The inspiration behind this episode stems from an interview I saw and Melissa saw of Rebecca Yarros saying she loves Catriona, who was public enemy number one when it came to the Fourth Wing / Iron Flame romance. Heads up, there's going to be a Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Empyrean series spoilers in this episode. So why does she love Cat? Because in her words, flip it around. What if Cat was a boy? And that shook me to my core. Because we'd eat that up. Yeah. So on the heels of that statement, we decided to create I Can Fix Him. No, really, I can. Meaning, girls who say I can fix him are often delulu and need to stop justifying their partner's behavior. We're going to flip the script a little bit. We're going to fight to justify the villains that we love to hate. These villains are all ones that are either already redeemed or that we can see a redemption in their future. So we're not going to defend Hybern. We're not going to defend Amaranth. Absolutely not. They're villains. They're going to stay villains. That is that. But we do want to justify. That's also
not the series that we're talking about right now. But
true.
Example.
didn't even catch that. But we are going to justify the icky sides of the villains who have already been redeemed and why we started to hate them in the first place. This episode will be part one, like Melissa said, the Empyrean version, and then the next time we do this is going to be the Massiverse version. So stick around because there's more where this came from. We are going to talk about the individuals in the Empyrean series, and these are their stories. So, Cat. Let's start with the inspiration herself, Cat. She was someone who was promised a life, as Rebecca said in her interview. She was sold and promised this dream since she was a child, that if she played the game, she would win the prize. She worked hard for Xaden.
She worked hard for her money. Sorry, I don't know why that...
No, I love it. She sacrificed for him. She would win the life. She would win the title. And it's not like she was following a pipe dream. Like, that boy's going to be mine. He's never looked my way, but someday he will. Like, they were together. They were. And then out of nowhere, the boy that came with the life, the luxuries, the title, the power, was into another girl from a different school?
Not just another girl from a different school, from the daughter of the general of that school. Yeah, the daughter of essentially public enemy number one.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. So, okay, I'm sorry. I just needed to put this in layman's terms for us normies who are living the now in the 2024. Let's just play back high school really quick. Let's say you're dating your dream B-fob, which, shout out Bob's Burgers, it's boy from another school. And let's say that his family was planning this dream vacation for the summer and you were invited. Let's say it's Europe, or if you're from Europe, let's say it's America. I don't know if you dream of coming here. I don't know the situation. But you bought your outfits. You planned your itinerary. You've figured out all the foods you're going to eat. You're in love. You're happy. Then all of a sudden, he shows up at your family dinner, madly in love with another girl from another school, from his school.
And he brings her.
Are you kidding me? And then he calls everything off with you. Like, you can't come. You can't come to the vacation, and we're not in love, and goodbye. You were just there. And then he looks right in your parents' eyeballs, right in their corneas, and says to them, I need your help with something.
I need what you have, actually.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I might be petty.
To be fair, Xaden did call off their betrothal before Violet, but still. But it doesn't matter because there's a difference between like, oh, I'm calling it off and I'm calling it off and then he's in love with someone else like that, because then there's no hope for it to potentially be restored.
No. It just is devastating to me. So then from the perspective of Kat, from the perspective of us who were just so wronged by this boy and his new girlfriend, the girl that stole our man away, are you kidding? Violet, that girl, she comes in acting high and mighty. Kat simply cannot just stand by and take it. Would you? I don't think I would.
Absolutely not. I would not.
She needs to do everything in her power to get him back. Like, for real, step into her mind for a second. Her man is telling some girl he loves her and treating her better than he ever treated Kat. That would break me.
That would infuriate me.
Absolutely.
I would lose my mind.
Yes. As I am right now. Everything that Kat did to impress Xaden, to keep him, to love him, is slipping out of her hands. And she can only stand by and watch. Like, you can't force love. There's nothing you can do. So tell me why I'm rooting for Kat now. This episode became a problem for me. Because I'm like, screw that.
I know.
She needs her justice. But
I know.
I digress. If we really look at it, I mean, also playing devil's advocate, was she actually in love with him or did she just want power?
It was just
the world may never know.
No, she tells Violet that it was just the power.
I know. But anyways, let's just maybe pretend for a sec.
And I feel like, I know we kind of like mentioned this in the beginning, and I just want to like once again very clearly state, we're not justifying the actions of these villains. We're coming at this from their point of view. So like, we are justifying their motives, not their actions. Like
their mindset.
Was Kat messing with Violet and amplifying her emotions in order to make the things worse and really like get under her skin? Was that okay? No. But like, do we really understand why? And like, truthfully, if we were in her situation, would we do the same? Probably.
Maybe.
Probably. And so this is just seeing everything from their perspective and giving us a little devil's advocate, if you will. So with that being said, the next person and or group of people that we're going to dive into is Melgren, but also all of the Navarian leadership, except for Varish. I am not... Varish is an enemy.
Back him up.
I'm not justifying Varish even a little bit. And the reason I'm not justifying Varish is because he knew... His whole thing was just about power. He just, like... That's... Whatever. I'm not getting into it. Varish is scum of the earth, and I'm not justifying anything. However... Melgren and like the rest of the Navarian leadership, they have a case. The choices Melgren made, while ugly and horrid, ultimately come from a place of protection. Like, he just wanted to protect the people of Navarre. Is it wrong that he didn't want to do everything he can to protect those who didn't have wards and everything? Absolutely. But that wrong decision, it wasn't like he was just saying, I have everything. If Navarre wouldn't be sacrificed, like their own wards were already like thin, stretched as far as possible. If it was this case where Navarre had the option to extend their wards without any like issues to cover everywhere and especially like where the Griffins were, like I can't remember all the names of the cities,
and
but
he
like
just chose not to.
Corden, exactly. Like, and he just was like, nope, I'm only gonna protect us. No, that'd be messed. But like, they couldn't extend their words any further. Their words were already starting to fail with how far they had stretched them, and it wasn't even covering all of Navarre because like it wasn't even covering Auresia or anything. And so they didn't have the means to extend that further. They had the army. But in sending their army to help other people, it would be one, sending them beyond the protection of the wards, and two, sending their army that would otherwise be protecting their people. So again, is it a good choice? No. But like, we can understand that he was just doing it to protect his people. He wanted to train riders to the best that they could be in order to protect the people of Navarre. And honestly, outside of Lilith, Dain's father, Nolan, Markham, and Varish, I don't think any of the other like Navarian leadership knew the truth of the Venin or the Wyverns. Can you think of any other characters that I'm missing, Ellie?
Nope.
I'm sure there are,
can.
and I'm sure we'll probably get comments on it, but like a handful of the people didn't actually know. Oh wait, I think Devera might have known. Or I think Devera was maybe suspicious. I don't know. But regardless, not everyone, like we know Carr didn't know. We know that like a lot of these professors had no idea. And so now I want to justify those professors that didn't know, that learned and then continued to stay. Because even like once it came to light, think about this. They had very little time to make the decision of whether they were going to go or stay. And that's also assuming that their dragons gave them that information. We know that not all the dragons wanted to share. And so Terran showed a vision to all of them, and not everyone, some people's dragons chose not to tell them. So their dragon made the decision for them. It wasn't their fault.
Ooh.
So, but even let's say the dragon did share the decision with the rider, they had about 0.8 seconds to decide if they were going to leave their families, the only home area, Navarre, like they don't know where they're going, like the only place they've ever known, the safety of the wards, and everything they've been told their entire lives for the unknown. Or are they going to just stay with what's comfortable and fight for what they do know and just assume that what they were shared was somehow fabricated and not the full truth, and really honestly just want to stay and even have time to question it and learn more? Like, truth, if we put it from that perspective, like I'm gonna be so honest, I hate
I hate myself. If you're telling me make a split decision, it would be, sorry, you're just getting the timing wrong. If you're telling me to make a split decision based off of some information that I'm not too sure about the credibility outside of maybe my dragon knows, like if they're convincing me, then that's one thing. But if your dragon's like not telling you and then everyone's leaving and you're kind of like, I don't think that that's right, I don't think I would go. I'm just honest. I don't think I'd go.
And like, I really hate that I'm saying that I don't know what I would do. Like, I really want to say that I would be so selfless and be like on the right side of everything, but like with such little time to decide, and like I'm a mom, like I have kids. If my kids were back home and like that would be such a hard decision to make.
Well, truth be told, it's not even about right or wrong, which is kind of the meaning of this whole episode. They didn't know what was right and wrong. They didn't know all the information yet.
Exactly.
And so with limited information, you can't give up your entire lifestyle, exactly what you said. When you have stability, you have family, you have like community, to be like, I think that might be right. Here I go. I'm going to need all the information to make a sound choice.
Exactly.
So, I hear you.
So that's that on that. That's all I have to say. But I'm just wanted to flip the script a little. I want people to think of things from a different perspective. Do we still love to hate them? Absolutely. Did they make the wrong choice? You betcha. But can we see why? That's what we're wanting to
fix him?
Thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right. Mine is the next one on Dain. Dain is such an easy I can fix him.
Oh my
Obviously,
gosh, yes.
like we've seen his redemption, but let's justify the icky side of him. Dain, okay, look at this baby boy's perspective. He is lovesick. He loves Violet. He is honor bound. I think we're all scarred from Tamlin, TBH. So seeing a guy being so overprotective immediately throws us into our SJM trauma. And
yes.
I truly think that is where everyone was like, I hate him. Bleh.
Yeah.
But like, Dain isn't Tamlin. And we need to remember that. These are two different books. These are two different authors. First of all, we only see things from Violet's perspective, right? We see her reasoning, and then we ultimately see her like grow feelings for Xaden, and you get why she is. Like, he's super hot. He's super, in tune with, I need, protective in the right way, but also like just, he's interesting. He's intriguing. We get it. Dain doesn't get that. Why would he? He's not in Violet's shoes. He doesn't have the bond. He doesn't understand any of that. At this point, Dain is just in the way to Violet. But then, take out Violet's inner monologue, we get Dain, who's known Violet her entire life. Like, he knows her. They grew up together. He knows that she's fragile. he knows, because he just did it, the whole Riders Quadrant is not a fragile place for people. It's gonna crush her. It's gonna kill her. And it really should have in so many different situations. So he's just telling her, like, this, you can't do this. Like, you're gonna die, and I care about you. But to us, from Violet's perspective, we're like, overbearing, obnoxious, don't doubt my girl. And I get that, but also we can get Dain's side too. To Dain, Xaden is the son of a traitor who started a rebellion kind of recently, might I add. It wasn't like hundreds of years ago. He's a more recent rebel. And then additionally is fairly rude to everyone and full of secrets. People who are full of secrets, like Gretchen Wieners, cannot be trusted. Varish is super skeptical of Xaden, and why wouldn't Dain trust his leadership? Like, yeah, okay, that one's more of like a difficult thing to pull because Varish is icky from all aspects.
But he doesn't know he's icky.
True. He's his leader. Don't you trust your teachers? When you were kids, most of the time you kind of have this blind trust. Like, they're my teachers, they're my parents, they know what's up, you know? So why wouldn't Dain trust him? Now, his best friend, who is Violet, is hanging out with that guy and falling for him. I would, if you saw your best friend falling for the most toxic person, and you know without a shadow of a doubt, that person is so toxic, you would do everything in your power to be like, please don't do this.
Yes.
Please run. So Xaden is for sure a traitor. And how does she not see that? What is possibly left to do but for him to read her mind to confirm that Xaden isn't who everyone thinks he is, and then warn people before Xaden gets everybody killed?
Yep.
So that is where I end that argument, obviously. And then, you know, that's not where I'm going to end the argument, because we know he gets his redemption. But let's look at even that redemption. As soon as he realized the truth, he was still on Violet's side. He still did everything he could to protect her, but now he was doing it in the right way because he was fed the right information. So truly, his only flaw was that he didn't have the puzzle pieces. And he wasn't willing to do a blind jump of faith off of Violet's reasoning for Xaden. So.
His only flaw is that he believed his dad. And if that's really the biggest flaw, my guy deserves some forgiveness, honestly.
Give him a break. Yeah.
Like, because like Ellie said, like, should he have taken her for her word? Yeah. But like, let's be real. If my parents and everyone, all of my leadership, everyone in my life, all the adult figures in my life are telling me one thing, but my best friend is telling me another, it's going to be hard to be like,
it's hard.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't have listened to her, because we are getting her perspective. Like, we are the readers are knowing everything, but like, again, let's shift into his perspective. It's hard to not be like, Violet, like, I hear you, but like, you just don't get it. Like,
got those love goggles on, sweetie. You're seeing rose. Like, you're seeing pink.
This is what our scribes say. This is whatever. Like, all of the evidence that you're given is pointing to one thing, but your best friend is saying another. Like, it's as much as we all want to say, "Oh, I'd believe my best friend." BS. You would believe the facts that you're given, even if those facts were manufactured. Like, you don't know they're manufactured. They're facts to you. Like,
yes.
So
I'm sorry, that's just the truth of it. So Dain, we can fix him. Would you like to do yours next, so we can do in every other situation?
All right. So mine, honestly, I don't know if it's like terribly controversial, but I want to justify Viscount Tecarus a little bit.
Ooh.
He's not like a crazy villain, but I do think that we're all like, he's mildly annoying for everyone. And I just want us to see it from his perspective. Honestly, really similar points as the Navarian leadership. He's just trying to like protect his people ultimately, and his students, his flyers and their academy. But he also wanted to see his niece and who is his named heir, not only happy, but be able to continue the line of succession through marriage and eventually offspring. He's the named heir by a thread already. He's the distant cousin of the current queen, and when she didn't have any children, so when she named him her heir, people were not happy about it because he was already 50 and he had no children himself. Like, so at this point, their people are like losing faith in the monarchy as it is.
Right.
And so he's really trying to make sure that he's not the one to ultimately make everything crumble. He's trying to set up succession as best as possible. So from that point of view, like really trying to make the betrothal work totally makes sense. I already said that. So sorry. Was it horrible that he forced Violet to unknowingly face off a Venin? 100%. Yes. Not a good move, but
not a good look.
Not a good look, but he wanted to make sure that there would be someone that could protect his people, since he planned on having them go back with the riders to Navarre to continue their training as part of his negotiations before actually sending them all in the hands of those who view them as their enemies. So if we think about it from that perspective, you're about to send all of your pseudo children with people who view them as enemies. You want to make sure they're going to be protected. And what's the best way to do that? To see one of them defeat the enemy that you know of, that they don't admit to.
Never thought about it like this. And yes, I think we can fix him. I like it. I'm on his side. I get it.
Well, and also, I know what you're going to say because I already brought this up. Melissa, Xaden broke off the betrothal because he found out Tecarus wasn't going to give the luminary to the resistance when they got married. They were just going to let them use it in Corden. And to that I say, touche. But still, if we think about this from his angle, giving Xaden and the, what do they call it? Not the rebellion, the revolution. Giving them the luminary could have been seen as an act of war by Navarre if the rebellion had failed again.
True.
So he again possibly was just looking out for his people. I'm taking a little bit of liberties there with making that assumption, since we know that didn't end up kind of being how the cards fell. But I don't know. I just think all of the icky actions that he made, if we look at them from his perspective, justified. And like Ellie said, can we fix him? But no, really,
I think we can. Really, we can. I think I actually really like that argument. I think that makes sense. I think that I could step into his shoes and be like, I see it. I get it. It wasn't wrong. Yes, of course. Like we said, the actions aren't always done. That's what makes them villains, right? But the motive, do we kind of, we do.
Do we empathize a little?
A little. And with that being said, here comes the most controversial one. We saved the best for last.
I'm so excited.
Jack Barlowe.
Tell me how we can fix him, Ellie. I will.
The argument we present for Jack is that it's not really Jack, and that is truly the only argument I can give.
Yes.
If we think about it, we don't know when Jack turned Venin.
Specifically.
And a lot of people think that it was after the mountain crashing on top of him and the happenstance of his soon after revival, right? Like we think, that's when he turned, But what if he was Venin before that? Some evidence being that in chapter 23, when Jack and Violet fight on the mat, this quote takes place. His sadistic grin and a red rim around his eyes are all I can see as he forces more and more power into my body. But his hands are occupied and he's too obsessed with his victory to hear that I've stopped screaming, to see that I'm moving. So, okay, that at least tells us for sure that he was Venin before his quote-unquote death, right?
Exactly.
However, what if he was Venin even before he came to Bascaeth? We know that Venin...
I subscribe to that thought.
Yeah, they're power hungry. They lose themselves to the power. So what if that explains Jack's nasty attitude and somewhat homicidal tendencies?
It does. It explains it to me. I'm okay with that.
I think for this full I can fix him theory, we ultimately we need to see the rules that Rebecca lays out for Xaden being Venin, because if he starts to lose himself, then I think we could chalk this idea up to Jack might not be all bad. He might just be so consumed that he's lost himself.
Truthfully, honestly, Ellie, I didn't think about it until just this moment, but oh my gosh, and I'm not sure if this is out there or not, but I actually really think, even more evidence. Okay. Sorry, I'm all over the place because it's a brand new theory. Remember how Jack, and everyone is so skeptical of this, but after he is quite literally brought back to life or whatever, he's nice and even saves Violet once. And everyone's like, what
if
gives?
he wasn't Venom for a second and then went back?
It's not that he wasn't Venom. Remember how because it comes out in Iron Flame, the suppressor or whatever that they gave him to cut off their signets, they created that for Jack. And then they just decided to add that, Varys decided to add that to all the cadets to make it harder. But I'm wondering if that was like not curing his venom, but like repressing all of his thing. And that really was the real Jack. Like, what if I don't know if there's any credibility to it, but like it makes kind of sense to me. It's not curing his venom, but it's repressing it.
Okay,
who's
I think
to
we're
say?
Delusional, but I love it. I will add this, but your theory can still hold true even with my devil's advocate statement. Okay.
Sorry,
so
go for it.
While I was researching Jack, I did come across the bit in chapter 60 where Xaden asks Jack when he turned, and Jack replies with, "Wouldn't you like to know?" But a few paragraphs before this, he did say, "There is no choice," Jack shouts, "and if there was, I made mine the second I saw her." He shoots a glare my way. That's Violet. Bond, the most powerful dragon available at threshing. So it sounds like he turned after threshing due to the jealousy from not getting the best dragon. And to me, it would make sense that he bonded a dragon first, then turned, and not that a Venom was able to come in and bond a dragon. Although, to play Angel's advocate, we don't really understand the bond situation between the riders, the Venoms, and the dragons. Like, we don't know if some would not bond, or if some would bond with Venom, or if some would break bonds if they chose to be Venom. We don't get that yet. We don't know. We don't have that piece. But even still, your theory on like that, the silencer of the signets and all that, like that could have happened even at that point.
I hear what you're saying about that, but I can't remember exactly what chapter threshing was, but I feel like that challenge on the mat, if I remember correctly, I feel like that happened before threshing and he already had the red rimmed eyes.
It was after.
Oh, dang it.
I know. Me too. I want this. I want to know that Jack isn't this psycho, because no one could be this psycho. We want to fix him, but maybe we can. He's a maybe. This one's a maybe we can. But food for thought, things to think about, things we've not discussed yet. So that is it. Those are our 5 I can fix hims, and let us know if you think. Yeah,
we're delusional.
They might have a point, or absolutely not. Get out of here, scram.
Yes. Oh man. Well, thank you so much for being here, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this early release. And for those who are not listening to an early release, go join our Patreon. You can hear our wild and crazy thoughts before the public.
Yes, please do. All right, bye guys.
Bye.